Good afternoon, y'all. Today I'm going to be going over the definition essay, but most importantly, just kind of how to brainstorm and get started on it for those of you who are having issues with this essay. So if y'all remember from yesterday's video that I uploaded, the introduction that's on your book that tells you how to kind of get started with this essay. The introduction part says, give readers some background on your subject, perhaps using narration to capture their interest with a brief story or description to draw a quick picture in their mind. Possibly offer a brief formal definition, specifying the subject, the class to which it belongs, and the features that distinguish it. So we're going to focus on the narration aspect of this. So what we want to first do is choose your term. The term I'm choosing for this is going to be kind of dark, but it's one that I usually use as an example, and I'm going to do this in purple. So the term I'm going to use is death. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is kind of just brainstorm on this. And, I kind of maybe, don't know, give a couple examples of what death can look like. So without even looking at the definition first, or the formal definition of it, death can be something that's ending. Some see it as a new beginning. I'm just going to abbreviate that. Some people may say we transcend after death. Others may say, it's forgot the word here. Give me a sec. It's permanent. Others may say that death is perhaps sad, and this is more feeling wise, right? And these are kind of more of states of being. And I'm going to put it here too. And then maybe other cultures may find death to be a celebration. And this is also kind of an action, right? Okay, so we just quickly brainstorm what death could mean and you know, all these different types of forms or perceptions of death. So now if I again go back to, sorry about that. If I go back to my introduction, so I want to give a narration to kind of capture their interest with a brief story or description, right? At this time now you can actually look at the definition as well. I already have it pulled up. Forget that cat with glasses, that's not what we're looking at. But if we look at the Merriam-Webster dictionary, we have a couple definitions of death. So the first one says a permanent cessation of all vital functions, the end of life. B is an instance of dying, 2A is the cause or occasion of loss of life. 2B is the cause of ruin. 3, the destroyer of life, represented usually as a skeleton with the sink. So this is actually like death itself, right? 4, the state of being no longer alive, the status of being dead. 5, the passing or destruction of something. 5B, extinction. 6, civil death. 7, slaughter. 8, the lie of life and matter, that which is unreal and untrue. So going back to these definitions, it kind of gives me more ideas that I can kind of brainstorm with. For example, now I have or can incorporate into my chart death itself. And by that I mean, the character that plays death. I also like extinction. What else is there? Let me see. And I also kind of like the passing or destruction. Cool. Okay. So I do have, multiple ideas that I can kind of brainstorm with. So now what I want to do is kind of get my introduction started. And if I'm doing a narrative story or a narrative intro to kind of hook my reader and audience, I kind of want to make this an interesting, brief introduction that kind of tells us what we're going to be exploring. So I'm trying to think here, and I really liked this class I took in my undergrad studies. It was a philosophy class where we talked about death. So, hmm, so I'm gonna start here this narrative, and I'm gonna put my reader in the setting of being in that philosophy class with me. So I'm starting off by saying, in my philosophy class, which focused on death, we had many discussions in which we looked at the term death through multiple perceptions. Some peers argued that life is linear, and when we die, that is the end of it. However, others argued that in fact, death death is a term. I don't know why I did that. Death is a term which encompasses many definitions. Okay, and this is kind of my introduction. It's very brief. It goes like straight to the point, and I'm going to read it to you. In my philosophy class, which focused on death, we had many discussions in which we looked at the term death through multiple perceptions. Some peers argued that life is linear and when we die, that is the end of it. However, others argued that in fact, death is a term which encompasses many definitions. So just like this, it's very clear, it's straight to the point. We know what we're going to be talking about. We know what is going to happen. So now that I kind of have, my draft of this introduction, I would want to go into my body paragraphs. And actually, let me do this in a different color. Okay. I think one thing I should make clear right now is that if you haven't been in a college writing class or in general in school for a bit, body paragraphs, I know everyone was taught that, they should have 3 body paragraphs and that's it. Well, in college, you can have more than just 3 body paragraphs. Again, remember that for this essay, you need to reach at least 1,200 words. So in essence, you can have over 3 body paragraphs. So again, I'm going to start maybe with, the actual term. So maybe my first body paragraph is going to focus on the actual term. My second body paragraph perhaps is going to focus on death within cultures. And just to be clear, I would probably just pick one culture so that I don't confuse my audience a lot. My third body paragraph, I would, I can talk about, this is where I can do a against paragraph. And this one, I would talk about how people say, there's nothing after death. So kind of the linear definition, right? And then my fourth paragraph, I can talk about transcending. So a rebirth, reincarnation, etc. And then my fifth body paragraph, this is maybe a personal example. Everyone should have a personal example in their essay. And then my conclusion, stating again my overall stance on this argument, right? And I made it pretty clear. right here when I say, however, others argue that in fact death is a term which encompasses many definitions. So this would actually be my thesis. So in my conclusion, I want to restate that. And that's how you kind of get started on this essay. So just wanted to make this quick video so that those of you who are lost do have some guidance. And those of you who aren't lost, you can maybe be on track to it, or now you have a clearer sense of what to do. And that's all. If y'all have any